Hi Bob. Thanks for spending some time with me today.
It's my pleasure.
Good to meet you here today in person. I've got a couple of questions here about the Think and Grow Rich book that you have in your hand. Who gave you this book and when was it?
I got this book from Ray Stanford in 1961.
Okay.
And no, actually I got another book. I got this one from my brother in 1963. But I started reading it. Ray gave me one in 1961. But this is falling apart. My brother had it bound in leather. And you know, it's a strange thing. There's an interesting story to this. The people that bound the book in leather, it took them 6 months to get it. Because everybody that worked on it wanted to read it. They start to read it and they wouldn't stop.
Okay.
But I've been reading this every day, this copy, since 1963. I carry it everywhere I go. It's literally falling apart. But my logic was this. If Napoleon Hill spent his entire life researching the lives of all those people to create this, I felt I'd spend the rest of my life studying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And were you age 26, were you?
I was 26, yeah.
Fabulous. And if you had to choose a favourite principle in the book, what would you suggest?
It's not, there's a favorite part in it. It's in Desire, where he says, right here, you'll see it's marked, I've got it all highlighted, but that was highlighted, I don't know, 30 years ago. He said there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one's ready for a thing until they believe that they can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief and not mere hope or wish. Then he points out that open-mindedness is essential to belief. Closed minds will not inspire faith, courage, or belief. Now he follows that up by saying, remember, it takes no more effort to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity that is required to accept misery and poverty. So you see the key here, where he says there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one's ready for a thing until they believe that they can acquire it. I studied that for the longest time, and I became aware that belief is in the Bible, it's in the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Torah. It's in all the religious books, all the great philosophers. It's like William James says, believe in your belief will create the fact. And I was trying to analyze why did I change. My income went from 4,000 to over 1 million. And I suddenly realized it was my belief that changed. And then I realized our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. And frequently, if you reevaluate a situation, your belief about that situation will change. And that's what this book caused me to do.
Brilliant.
And so it continues to cause it. Like I'm forever reevaluating who I am and understanding the power that I've got locked up within me all through this.
All through that book.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Well, just moving on to mastermind groups. Napoleon Hill talks about the principle of having a mastermind group. What is a mastermind group and why is it so important to be in one?
Well, he said there's no other way of creating power. It's essential. Andrew Carnegie said it was through his mastermind group that he built his great fortune. He became the wealthiest man in the world. Spent half his life earning money, the other half giving it away. I think a person that doesn't mastermind is very foolish. Carnegie said the accumulation of great fortune calls for power. And power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. But he said that knowledge does not have to be in the possession of the person who accumulates the fortune. So you see, you can gain knowledge from members of the mastermind that you don't have. And you can utilize that knowledge to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Masterminding is it's an age-old principle. The 12 disciples was a mastermind group. I mean, it goes back. All truly powerful people have a mastermind. They may not call it that, but they have one.
They have one. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the best decision you've ever made in your life, Bob?
Well, the best decision I ever made in my life was to read this book and never stop reading it. That was the decision. He spent his whole life preparing it. I spent my whole life studying it. And I've encouraged people all over the world to study this. And it's, I think the Napoleon Hill Foundation is not near as well known as it should be. And the work of Napoleon Hill, although it's affected millions of people, there's millions that have never heard of it. So I believe films like this, 3 Feet from Gold that's just been made, and the Napoleon Hill Foundation, I think it's very, very important because it's such great information.
I agree, absolutely. And we're currently aware of a changing economy, and what would be your advice to embrace change rather than for fearing it?
He said, look, in every adversity, there's a great opportunity. We want to understand the universe operates by law. One of the laws is the law of polarity. Law of polarity degrees, everything has an opposite. It's equal and opposite. If it's real bad, it's real good. I happen to believe this is the best time to really make things happen. Hardly anybody's trying. Most people are focused on what's wrong. We want to focus on what's right. Look what's good in the economy. I believe what we're going through, we have to go through to move into the new economy, because the old ideas were not working. We were working in competition. We've got to work in cooperation. That's what he's talking about in here all the way through his material.
Absolutely. And how do you know when to sort of change goal steps or stay persistent and learn something? I
think you follow what he says. You don't change the goal. You change the path, you change the plan, but you never change the goal. If your goal is something you really want, you don't know how to get. You only know if you follow certain principles that are all outlined here, you will eventually get there. So you don't change the goal, you change the plan.
Change the plan, okay. And I've asked a couple of people in the audience today, Bob, and I asked them what would be their one ultimate question. And one person asked me to ask you 3 top ways to help people from intention of I want this to finding discipline to getting the results.
Well, discipline is giving yourself a command and then following it. I have a dear friend of mine, Jane Wilhite, that runs Sci Seminars, and her saying is that givers gain, and they really do. So if we stop trying to get and start trying to give, start trying to serve, the greatest is the servant, and that's how you reach the goal. It's a bit of a paradox. We're raised to be good little go-getters, but the law says give and you'll receive. And so I think that the trick is decide on something you want and then realize that whatever it is you want, that's a reward you're going to receive for service that you render. And just look for opportunities to help. That's all Hill did.
Yes.
And he helped millions.
Okay, and many people are in debt. What would you say to help build prosperity on my final question today?
Well, this book got me out of debt. I started to focus on prosperity instead of debt. And set a goal for prosperity, and you will not think of debt. If your goal is to get out of debt, you're going to stay in debt, because whatever you think of, you become. So just set the goal to become very prosperous and forget the debt.
Excellent.
Good.
Thank you for your time today, Bob.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're all ready to roll there?
Thank you.